Bow wow.
We are sun dogs, and we are sitting down with the master, the sun god, Apollo.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good.
I did y'all research, man. I appreciate that. That's dope. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through and taking the time to give us and listeners a sneak peek.
Hey, man, the pleasure's mine. Thank you guys for having me in your house, man.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Exactly. We want to jump right into it and get your origin story when it comes to making music. Like, where did you first, where did music become an important part of your life, and then where, just kind of the journey into
as far back as you can remember.
I guess I'll kind of give you the long, short story.
Okay.
Music's always been a big part of my family. I'm West African. I was actually born overseas. And I moved here when I was about 5, right? So
Liberia, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir. And my family's always been big into music. You know, I could recall all the way back as early as 4. My mom and my grandma cleaning up together and singing, harmonizing together, and they still do that to this day.
Wow.
So moved to the States. My mom was a backup singer for a choir. They would travel and sing and whatnot.
For church or for?
Nope, just her own. So her name was Evelyn Marsh. She was a singer, and she made her own music. And my mom would do background, but it was gospel music. So they would travel and whatnot. Yeah, she would bring me along, kind of like I doing with my son. See different things and whatnot.
Wow.
So, and then fast track. It's always been a part of my blood, but then fast track to around high school. My Benjay, shout out to Benjay. My cousin Benjay, shout out to B Rebel. He's the one that started us in the group. First original group, it was called KKC, Kamikaze Click.
Okay.
Right? So we used to use Audacity.
Yeah.
And man, we no joke, we'd make about maybe 10 tracks a night, stay up all night, go to school in the morning. Completely sound terrible now, hindsight looking back, right? But we just funnel it out.
Were you still going by Apollo at that point? Because we want all the aliases.
All the AKAs.
Yeah. Back then I was going by Capone. Al Capone. Yeah, so
part of the Kamikaze Click.
For sure, yeah. So I was Capone back in the day. And that's when I knew I had a talent for it, and I was just big on freestyling, so I could do that back then. And my cousin was kind of the motor behind me to push me. You know what I mean? So I left
just
that.
Freestyling.
Yeah,
that's how you got into it?
Yeah, that's how I got into it. We would always just freestyle, you know what I mean, and get into it like that. So I didn't take it serious, but then structuring songs and putting it together, he kind of showed me how to do that. And left it alone, surprisingly, to pursue MMA.
Oh,
okay.
All over the place.
Turn.
All over the place.
When
right?
was that? Middle of high school?
No. So I did MMA. My first fight, I believe, was at 19 or 20.
Okay.
So I'm 30 now. So I did about 5-6 years of that. And 3 years ago, I just released my first single, and that's when I got back into the music and full swing.
What called you back to the music?
I think it was a transitional phase for me, and the music was always a part of my life, but the MMA thing wasn't panning out how I wanted to.
What do you mean?
Meaning it was something. My whole life, I've always been half in, half out with everything in my life, right? I would say I can multitask, but really you're just half stepping a lot of things, right? So I didn't really reach my potential with the MMA. And when it was my last fight, I knew it was my last fight before I took it. And it just, realistically speaking, financially, I got a kid and all of that. It wasn't making sense anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I just didn't have the well to draw from anymore. So music was always calling. I just wasn't listening for the longest. So then it was a transitional phase. I'm like, well, what now? Like I'm someone that needs something to do. I don't like to just go to work and come home.
Yeah.
So
need that
music,
passion.
Yeah. So music was, hello, remember me? So picked it back up and never been happier, man. Never been happier.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So to see it resonate, it's tenfold. Like, okay, this was the right decision, because I'm not in it for the money or anything. I'm in it to inspire the next generation, because I know music saved my life. You know what I mean? Without getting too deep into it, like music has saved my life on many accounts. And every time I hear a track, I'm like, man, thank God that this person was created and he stuck with it, even though they were saying this and the third, and I got to hear this song. Someone needed to hear it, so I'm just paying it forward, man. The money, if it comes, whatever, but I just paying it for. I love music. It's a big part of my life, and I love inspiring people.
Yeah, what were some of the earliest albums that inspired you
beyond
your family?
Oh, man.
Some of the music that inspired you.
One of my anybody could tell you, too, my family, if you ask them. Growing up, one of my number one favorite artists was Nelly, growing up. Because at that time, he was doing what rappers weren't doing quite, that I heard. Anyways, he was singing and rapping. Which is big now, right? Which is so you got the Nellys, the Akons, all of that. it was catchy then, but you would have 1 or 2 out of every 10 or whatever. So now it's just all melodic. You know what I mean? So Nelly caught my ear. You get the Ludacris, Eminem, Jeezy, Gucci. So I love like lyrical storytellers. You know what I mean? Eminem is definitely in my top 5. Lil Wayne is the GOAT to me. So that was the era I kind of grew up in. You know what I mean? So then fast forward to now, I kind of implement that in some of my music. You could tell with the Letter to Elijah or whatever, the storytelling and painting that picture for put your seatbelt on, I'm going to take you on a ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I get it from. Those are the guys I grew up listening to.
That's cool. Yeah. Did we miss any aliases? Say Capone.
Capone. You want to know how I got Apollo?
So what's the timeline?
When did you do Apollo? Right when you after MMA, then you did Apollo.
Well, actually, Apollo was during MMA. So when I first started, the gym I went to, I had an afro at the time, right, and a thick mustache. So my coach looked at me one time and he was like, "You remind me of Apollo Creed." Right. So I kept the moniker, and it's funny how life works. Fast forward, it just goes. It makes sense with what I'm doing now because Apollo, yes, is the sun god and also doubles as the god of music, right? Like not saying it like that, but you know, it just I was like, it makes sense. I might as well just stick with this. So and then I love it so much because that nickname was given to me and it has so much meaning to me that my son's actual on his birth certificate his middle name is Apollo. You know what I mean?
So, wow. Who gave you the name? Who?
Apollo?
Yeah. It was
first coach. Yep.
That's right. That's right.
My first coach
at the gym.
I had a great relationship with, and he gave me that name and that moniker. So I went from Capone to Apollo, and it just depending on, you could tell when people knew me based on what they call me when they see me. Some still call me Capone, some say Apollo. So.
And what do you think that trainer's doing these days? Do you think he's heard your music?
Or?
No, he's still training. Yeah,
he's
down in Austin, Minnesota. He supports it, but you know, it's not his genre. It's no Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean?
Do you ever reference yourself as Capone in Apollo tracks or?
Nah, I haven't. There's only a few people even to this day that still call me Capone. And it's even weird when I hear it. They were like Capone. It'll take me like a second. I'm like, oh, that's me. Yeah. So that's the OG name, man. But Apollo now is more efficient. Even when I introduce myself, hey, Monty, how you doing? I'm Apollo, whatever. It just sticks.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So.
And then you were saying that you were producing on a lot of your tracks, like doing the engineering, and so because you did that, you were saying on Audacity before. Did you jump back into Audacity when you first started up again? So
when we were doing Audacity, Benjay did all of that. I had no clue. I was the guy that just show up and rap. You know what I mean? So I had no clue what was going on, and I didn't care enough back then. But shout out Matt Grosso. He just got married and changed his name to Mabs. So out of St. Paul, one of the best engineers in the city. Oh, wow. I might be biased, but one of the best kept secret. He's the NV on the Letter to Elijah. He engineered those ones. Oh. Right. So hands down, one of the best I've ever worked with, and the chemistry is amazing, right? Cool. So, but I'm one of those people, if I don't know how to do something, while you're doing it for me, I'm paying attention. So he used he used Pro Tools, so I got familiar with the DAW and whatnot. And then I finally, one day I just got up, man. I was like, I have nothing else to do. Let me invest in myself. You know, I went to Guitar Center, got all the equipment, whatever, and hopped on YouTube right away. Yeah. And no joke, about 3 weeks, I figured out roughly how to do a track. Nice. You know, and that first song, you're like, oh, man, this sounds so great. This is the best. Fast forward now, I'm like, oh, man. Right. You know what I mean? Like you guys are saying, you get better. Yes. Get better and better and better. So, yeah, this year, I think I only dropped about 2 songs this year in one video. And I just took time to hone in my skills, cultivated a lot of music that I'm sitting on right now, and then planning the next year. You know what I mean? Ooh. So big things coming next year. Big things.
And then you were saying that you had a big influence from Nelly with like the melodies and the singing. Yeah. And then with your singles on Spotify, is that where most of your music is? All your music is?
Oh, as far as like melodic and whatnot?
From your Apollo tracks, is pretty much everything on Spotify?
Yep.
Because that's where I did my hunting to listen to your music. And so it was like pretty much just like straight rap in the earlier tracks. Yeah. But then now you're definitely singing maybe even more than 50% of the song.
Exactly.
So what led to that transition? Because it sounds like you've always liked that. Yeah. Did you have to did you take like singing lessons? Or
that's a great question, man. A lot of it too was comfortability. So my first actual track, I have some on YouTube too. That's not on my Spotify. But my first actual track that I released was a Afrobeat song, right? Because I do Afrobeats as well.
That's right.
I have a whole project that I did a year ago. I haven't released it. I'm sitting on that. But part of the singing was getting comfortable with it, and just, you know what I mean. And then with the character or the that I'm portraying and whatnot, I was trying to find that pocket where it still resonates, right? So I'm not trying to be all the way R&B, you know what I mean? And then finding those pockets when to sing in it, you know what I mean? When to sing, when to rap. So like NVO was a great, I feel like one of those, when I was kind of turning that corner of perfect pocket to sing, perfect pocket to rap, you know what I mean? So now a lot of my songs kind of sound like 3 or 4 different people on one track, you know? So
I love it.
Yeah, it just took me getting comfortable behind the microphone and comfortable with myself and my skills, you know what I mean?
Yeah, was it learning, because for some of those were you doing your own like voice plugins when on engineering on those songs when you sing, like the so probably learning how to do that too took a little bit.
Exactly.
Because then, now it's...
Exactly.
I don't know. It's dangerous. This guy might not ever rap again. He might just be a singer.
Man, you know what? And that project I'm working on is completely... It's all melodies, pretty much.
Oh,
it's
man,
pretty
called
much,
it,
it's
man.
It's like a raw wave with a hint of
it seems like it goes that way. If a rapper
man.
makes one good song singing, it's like they never look back. It's like,
and I think that's one thing about it is every individual who's starting something, they're emulating, you know, who they looked up to in that sport or that area. You know, so starting out it was mostly rap, this, that, and the third. But getting comfortable with it, with the singing and all that, kind of finding my own lane and my own pocket. Where now when you listen to me, you might hear an artist or two, but it's less and less as I'm making more music. You know what I mean? So every artist, that's what I'll tell the fans or whatnot, or people who first hear somebody in their first track, they're quick to jump and say, "Oh, you sound like this," or "You sound." Well, it's 2022. Everything's been done essentially. You know what I mean? So any artist that you hear they're emulating somebody that they looked up to, but adding their taste to it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like a cover band almost.
Yeah.
You know, so but just give that artist time to grow, time to find their pocket, time to find their range and what they're good at, and then once you find that lane, just take off, you know. And I feel like that's that pocket I'm hitting now. This next year is ready.
That's good to hear.
I know my identity now, what works for me.
Because the songs you got out are vary, I feel like, a lot.
Very eclectic.
Genre. Yes, it's all over the place.
So it's cool. I'm like, this guy could do anything, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it,
but
man.
you're focusing in next year?
Yeah. Yep. And I wanna for me anyways, an artist, I don't call myself a rapper. I'm an artist, and art imitates life. So I'm a human being first. So I don't always feel like drilling. I don't always feel like banging. I don't always feel like getting money. Sometimes I feel like crying about my girl leaving me. Sometimes I miss my mom. Sometimes I feel some type of way about my kid, you know. So it's like when you hear one song, I could play you 3 different songs that I've made, and they sound like different artists, and that's just because I'm a human being. We all are multifaceted,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to push, and that's kind of my brand is we do it all. You know what I mean? Cool. Whatever mood we're in, that's the music we're gonna make. So somebody is gonna like something from my catalog. You know what I mean? So
that makes me even more excited about the projects coming out in 2023.
I think you guys are gonna like it, really, really.
We've got about 5 more minutes. What can you tell us more about this upcoming project, other than about the track that you had your rep sent over? So
the Letter to Elijah, that is and you know, that's a song I did 2 years ago, and I just sat on it for some reason. Something was telling me just don't release it. I just sat on it. It's too good of a song to just, throw out there. So I'm putting together this album. It's called more of an EP. It's about 8 tracks right now. I started with 4, but I kept adding.
Yeah.
So right now I'm about 8. It's a passion project, right? So Stay of Adjudication. I'm speaking on real life situations that happened in my life that now finally, and this happened maybe 5-6 years ago, that now I'm finally ready to talk about it. And the thing about music that I find is people are more, they're more liable to listen to you when there's an 808 and some harmonies behind it. You know what I mean? So that's why I tell my story and I tell my pain is through these melodies. And people then, I'll play a track for somebody and there's tears rolling down their eyes, or they makes it when they call their dad or call somebody or check in with their kid. Yeah. That's why I do it, man. You know what I'm saying? I want music that makes people feel again, not just a vibe. Yeah, we have those too, and that's fine. But music that makes you think, music that makes you, you know what I mean? I don't by any means make club music. I could do that all day, every day, but my music's for those who, you smoking or you riding around chilling or you had a rough day and you put that on and oh man, this guy understands. Okay, and he's okay. It's not so bad. I'll be okay too. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's huge, and that definitely comes through. And in a lot, not all, but a lot of your tracks that are on Spotify right now.
For sure, I appreciate it, man.
And you said 8 tracks.
Yeah, for
right
now, eight
I was gonna say it could go up to 33.
I'll play some of it for you guys before I leave out of here and show you what I got so far, man.
That's cool. That's so exciting.
This might be longer than a 2-minute and 30-second question, but tell us about Alpha House. What is the because that on Spotify it says that's the label.
That's
the
label, yeah. So independent. Alpha House is the mentality of it's a wolf pack, right? So the alpha male goes where he's needed. He doesn't always need to be the head of the pack. He goes where it helps the herd the most, and that's why I call it Alpha House because I'm the face of it, right? But I have people around me that help me, that motivate me, that are better at other things, right? So when I have my engineer, he's better. I let him do what he does.
Yeah.
I have my graphic designer. I just give him an idea. I let him do. I don't micromanage. I let people do what they do. Then we come together, right? So now even we learning how to engineer. I have a couple of little homies that rap too, and man, if they're younger, more talented than they're, if so, I will go where need be to promote and push people around me. That's it. That's the alpha mentality. Is, you know what I mean? All for one, one for all type mentality, and go where you fit best. You know, you don't always have to be the face and the big dog. You know what I mean? So that's what it represents for me. The wolf pack.
I'm glad we got that answer because it might not look that way on the face of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the opposite of what I would have thought.
Yeah, exactly. and when would you guys kind of formally put that together? When was that?
The alpha?
When was
the collective?
When was it put together?
Man, it's been a long time. So my graphic designer, he actually did jujitsu with him for years before we were even talking about music. So that fell on the line. My engineer was introduced to me by one of my homies from back in the day. So it's like it was put together before I even knew. You know what I mean? And I was talking about my sister that's trying to do photography. You know what I mean? Then I got another homeboy that does beats. So it's like we slowly assembling it. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like the Avengers. We're just coming together slowly but surely, and everybody has their own superpower in their own lane. And awesome. I like people just be great at what you're great at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Worry about what you're good at, and then we come together at the end and bring it together. You know what I mean? Wolfpack mentality.
That's words of wisdom.
That's the way to go. Let's run through your socials really quick.
Yes,
Instagram, Apollo_Ombre,
yes,
HOMBRE.
That's the one.
On YouTube, it's Apollo Selassie.
Yeah. I added that at the end, so it's a little easier.
But it was like Liberia, Haile Selassie.
Haile Selassie, East Africa, yeah.
No connection. That's just name, artist name.
Yeah.
And then, but that's like YouTube / Apollo 92. Spotify, it's Apollo. Apple Music, it's Apollo.
Yes, sir.
Apollo.
Yep.
So that should get
socials,
you covered.
We're gonna
DogStar podcast.
We're gonna take a break here in a few seconds. When we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more about this upcoming EP, perhaps about these 2 tracks your rep sent over.
Dope.
We'll see you after the break.
Right back.
Bow wow. And we're back. Welcome back to DogStar. We're gonna continue our conversation with Apollo. I really want to ask about these music videos and who's shooting these music videos and who's coming up with are you coming up with
because it said
stories?
Yeah, it said writer under what was it, the Gremlin Mode remix. I really like that video. That video is crazy.
Right? So go ahead.
Basically we want to know who came up with the idea for the music video, just because underneath it said you had the writing credit for it. I didn't know if it was the writing credit for the song or for the video. So
and this goes back to the Wolfpack mentality, right? So I shoot all my videos with the same guy. I'm one of those people, if something works and we have chemistry, before I even work with you, I got to see if the chemistry, I'm big on chemistry. I don't care how good you are, what you do, or whatever, if the chemistry is, you know what I mean? So my videographer, I went to high school with his brother.
Oh, okay.
Right? So when he found out I was doing music, reached out and never looked back. So he shoots all my videos. So what we do is he has the cinematic eye to see things, but I come up with the storyline, the plot. So Super Gremlin, that's why I threw the Hillary Clinton in there talking in the beginning, Super Predators and all of that, right? So and I made that in the studio first. So then I was like, okay, damn, for the thing, what if we do like a heist? So I come up with the ideas, and then he comes up with the you know what I mean, the cuts and the
He's editing it too.
Absolutely.
Oh, sick.
And it's a 2-man team, him and his brother. That's it.
Okay.
Edit it, shoot it, all of that, and and it looks like it's one of those from a major label.
It really does.
He does an amazing job.
They're killing it.
Absolutely, and that's it. And he's an artist too. And what he does is he shoots videos, takes that money and then puts it into his art. Sweet. You know what I mean? But he's great at shooting videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's one of those things, like I said, where I let people be great at what they're great at. So I give him the premise. And then he's okay, bro. Then we run with it. And we have the chemistry, so we trust each other. So when it comes back, I'm never disappointed. I'm like, this is exactly how I had it in my head.
So they've done every video?
All of my videos.
Oh, I love to hear that.
And if you notice on my videos too, it's almost like there's always a storyline or something to it. I don't do the run and gun. That's cool and all, but for me, I'm big on storytelling and the video, painting the picture. If you missed it, to like Love Lost, that was one of my favorites to shoot too. So yeah, he does all my videos. Him and his brother do all my videos.
That's awesome. I just had to ask because I love those videos so much.
Man. Great quality, and you can see he's getting better too. We're going to shoot the letter to Elijah this winter too in a couple of weeks.
Sweet.
That's going to be cinematic, man.
And to have the snow and the steam coming out of the breath.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I waited for the winter to shoot it, and it's going to be a tearjerker cinematic.
Oh, man.
Beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, man.
Yeah, why do you think a visual is so important to like reiterating the themes of a song?
Because I think they go hand in hand one way or the other, and they can make a break one way or the other, right? So you think about it, if you go to the movies and like the scary parts come up, it's more or less the score behind it that's making it scary, and it's loud, and it's because if you watch it on silent, you know what I mean, and then vice versa. I've heard good songs, and I watch the video, and it just makes it that much better. And it's like, oh, man. Or sometimes it'll make it like, this is what they shot for it. I don't even like this song anymore. Yeah. So for me, personally, everything I do, I think that's the misconception is without sounding some type of way, every song I make, every video I shoot, I do it for me. I need to enjoy it. If I don't like it, I don't care. So I do it for me, and then if it resonates, it resonates. You know what I mean? So for me, that's how videos are important to me, because I grew up on the 106 Park and the video and the MTV videos.
Sucker Free Sunday.
Exactly. So, and I remember seeing those videos. I'm like, damn, that's dope. Having all these people together and this, that, and the third. And then sometimes they'll do the movie shootout and all of that. So videos are very important to me to put the final cherry on top of the audio. If you missed the pictures, okay, this is what he meant. You know what I mean? So kind of get a glimpse into my head for a little bit.
What are some of your favorite music videos or films?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Oh, man, the list
if you can recall.
Scarface, Blow, Forrest Gump is a beautiful movie. Dear John.
Okay.
And the music videos, man, I can't even think off the top of my head. It goes all over the place. But Ludacris always shot dope music videos. You know what I mean? Busta Rhymes was always in the camera and everything. So, yeah, man, it's just all over the place, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet. We want to know about why are you releasing so many singles? I mean, you got an album coming up, but why? Did you think it was just going to be one song at the beginning, or what? What was the motivation behind
why am I releasing
singles
so many?
until we're dropping singles until now? Yeah, it was more of like a promotion run, or?
just to and everything is trial and error with me, but the way I see it, there's no two ways to make it into the industry. But for me, I just wanted to flood, get things out there. Because I know some people, they wait until it's perfect, or they I don't want to drop too much. The way I see it, man, if I drop one song and I get your attention, and I wait 6 more months, you're probably not gonna stick around. Like, especially in this day and age, people are boom, boom, boom. I mean, Kendrick dropped one of his best albums of all time this year, and it was hot for maybe a month or two, and then we're on to the next, we're on to the next, we're on to the next. So that's the time of era we live. That's why even with the podcast, they'll clip it in 3 minutes. 10 spins a little shorter. So I like to flood it and keep me in your face. You know what I mean? Keep me on your algorithms and whatnot. So that's why even this year kind of hurt me to take a step back. But I knew it was one step back, get everything in line, get a massive catalog, and then boom, 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 boom. So that's the way I see it. So I like to flood it, man. And and like I said, for me, I like putting things out and listening to it back. So if nobody listens to it, that's fine. Me and my kid, I call him my little A&R. There's literally been songs that I made, and I loved it, and he's like, "Oh, no, Dad, I don't know," and I'll scrap it. No
there
joke,
you go.
If my kid don't like it,
at least for now, at least for now,
trust that instinct.
Absolutely. If you don't like it, I'll scrap it. So I just like to flood it and keep everybody. Oh yeah, I remember him. You know what I mean? Instead of 6 months later when you're on to something new. So
and gives you a chance to kind of try out different styles, song to song, versus like, nope, this is all going to be the same style.
Absolutely. So,
that's cool.
Yeah,
a lot of variety.
That's it, man. Something for somebody. I call my music sushi roll music. There's a roll for everybody. You just don't know it yet.
Okay, that's good.
There's a sushi roll for everybody. Man. There's a song somewhere in my catalog that no matter where you're from, you're gonna like it. You might not like the rest, but there's one song where it could resonate because I'm a human being just like you, and I promise I'm probably going through some same things you're going through. Yeah. We just grew up different. That's it.
And it sounds like this upcoming project, the 8-track project, right now, the themes for each track are similar. Are there different vibes, or is it all going to be?
A lot of the vibes is emotional, so it's like a lot of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of hope in getting, you know what I mean, getting the situation back better. I threw a track in there with my mom on it. You get what I'm saying? So
she's singing?
Nah, she's just talking.
Okay. Classic.
That's a good idea. I never thought about that. I should get her singing on the track.
You guys could probably harmonize pretty well too.
Absolutely. Cool. So I like to put skits, as you know, with the NVO. I like to put my skits, super gremlin to kind of make it hit home more. Like when you listen to my music, man, and you close your eyes, I want you to go on a ride, and even if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, you kind of feel and get the gist of it. You know what I mean?
It sets the tone for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what this project is super melodic, a lot of heartbreak, I played some tracks for some of my friends, and they happened to be going through what I was making at the song, and to see it makes me happy, not to see them cry, obviously, but it's like this is what I'm doing it for, it to hit home with somebody. And all I need is one ear. That's it. For it to hit home with somebody. Because I might not, let's say I never make it, right? But 10 years from now, #1 artist in the world, who'd you grow up listening to? Oh, Jay-Z, Nas, and this guy named Apollo. Oh, who's that? I've done my job. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That's all, man. That's honestly why I make music. That's it. And if
making an impact,
that's it.
Hopefully a positive impact.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Yeah,
a great artist with great intentions. Keep at it, man. For sure.
Yeah, pure. Because like I said, I can make the club making, booty shaking music, drill all day, every day, but it's not hard. It's not entertaining to me to do that all the time. It doesn't challenge me. I got on my bucket list this winter to make a country song and a rock song.
We were going to ask what genres are on the horizon.
Absolutely.
So rock, country,
everything.
Just to see if I can do it.
Limits,
yeah, I like to, you know what I mean? Stretch my width to see what I can do. So that's on my bucket list, just to make me a country or rock song.
Or maybe write the next great holiday song.
Absolutely, right? Also Mariah Carey.
Exactly. The king of Christmas.
Yeah. I just like music I like music entirety, man. I listen to all types of genres. I get a lot of inspiration from different genres. I always tell my friends, like, Rod Wave, he did this song where he's sampling the Plain White Tees, right? The Hey There Delilah was. So he has a song where he's saying it word for word, but singing in his own tone with the 808s behind it.
Crazy.
And my boys, they love it in that sense, but I'm like, let me show you where he got it from. And I love introducing people to that too, like showing the original.
Yeah, where the sample
where they
came
got it from.
Yeah.
So I do the same thing, even if I hear a beat or a song. Damn, where'd they get the sample from? And you go listen to it, and it's beautiful. I just love music like that, man. Music is a big part of my life.
When you find a beat that tickles your ear, if you will, do you write to that beat, or do you select from pre-written verses and kind of paste it over?
Yeah, we definitely want to know about your process.
As much as you can.
Maybe talk about the process, like exactly for specifically NVO. Like how did that?
Let's speak on that. So, without saying too much, if you listen to NVO, you can kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about, right? Like this fear.
But like, where did you get the beat? When did you write before you found the beat?
Nah. So my process is, so for NVO specifically, right? It was a late night talk I was having with one of my friends about this fear I have of being taken away from my child one way or the other, right? So and in which turn with I wasn't raised with a father, right? So which in turn is I end up being just like him, and I did more damage because I was there and then taken away, right? Even though I'm trying to do better for him, and it. So that's where that started out as a late night conversation, and it kept bugging me. So I'm like, I got to get this off, right? So what I would do is when I have a subject matter, I will search for a beat, and I'll search by an artist because I know the type of beats that they usually make, right?
Yeah.
So I heard this beat, and it was like a little Boosie type beat, and you know what I mean, the piano's in and the keys and everything. For me, when I hear beats different, so when I hear a beat, it writes it for me. I know what pocket, it tells me what pocket to drop low. People come around me with it. So the beat essentially is my puppet master, and I just fill in the blanks, right?
Fascinating.
So yeah, because that's the first thing you hear, and the beat is what gives you the emotion. Like I said, Scary Movie, the score. You know what I mean? So I heard that beat once. I'm like, perfect. Then I did the hook first with all of my decisions. And that's one song where I took longer. So when I write my music too, whatever mood I'm in, I only write it while I'm in it. I don't force it. So Letter to Elijah took longer than most because I didn't want to force the lyrics, and I wasn't always sad about it. But the times that I was, it's like a faucet just opens up and I'm just writing, just boom, 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 boom. And there's lyrics that I could never write the same twice. So when they used to get mad at me at work because the lyric would come to my head and I'll drop everything I'm doing. Middle of work, and I got to get this off, man. You don't understand. I got to get this.
Nice.
I'll deal with it later, but I have to get this off. And
you can't put a price on having a job like that. What job is that? Where can I get a job like that,
they didn't tolerate it, but I was like, that's so much time. Like, look, I'll deal with it later, but like, I have to get this off right now.
It's hard to find anybody who's cool with that or like
Right.
being in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I know that this is important, but like this rhymes. I need to.
I have to put it on there. So
are you writing it on your phone or using the voice memo?
My phone, yeah. I usually write on my phone. And then the delivery at the end. So I write it, subject matter, all of that. Then I go to the studio and just tap into that energy and that mode. I sound weird saying it, but it's like even when I freestyle, it's like because sometimes I wonder like where did these lyrics come from? I intended to put them in the way that they are and organize them like that, right? Because we all know the same words, but to actually structure it and make it rhyme and all of that. So I say it's like I'm tapped into my ancestors. Like I just close my eyes and they just take over. It's kind of like an out of body experience, especially when you're freestyling, you know. So it's like I attribute it to that because like I said, I could never write those lyrics again. I actually lost my one. I had a phone where I had all my lyrics in. And that one crashed.
Oh, no.
Right? So I was like, you know, like when you play in a video game and you get to the last level and you lose or something and you have to start all over, you don't even want to do it anymore. So
I didn't say
there's a bunch of songs that I just forget it, man. I can't do it again like the way I did.
How did you get past that?
Exactly.
I just made new music. Yeah, just new music.
Did it ever seem like maybe you would stop making music, or did you know the whole time you're like, I'll just make another song?
I'll start making music when I die because, like I said, I make music. You know, life, art imitates life. So as long as I'm alive, I have something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I know I will always have. So I could drop 100 songs a week if I could, and I'll always still have something to talk about because it might be something small like this happened at work or this or that. But as long as I'm alive, I always have a subject matter to talk about. I just don't know it at the time always, but there's always something to write about. You know, it's no different than journaling. It's just I'm putting it a different way, making it rhyme. Over a beat, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's it, man. Music is a major part of my life. My girlfriend can attest to that. All of like I can't. It's a big part of, major, huge part of my life.
Like therapeutic.
The music not so much. When I make it, it's therapeutic for me, expressing myself and getting it off my chest. You know, and in a healthier way because once, like I said, if I'm mad, it's like my energy spilling onto that pad on my phone. So halfway through writing a verse, I'm like, Danny, I'm forcing these. I'm not mad anymore.
Precise.
I'll come back to that song. You know, it really is therapeutic. You know, that's why even with the state of adjudication I'm having is, I had one of my homegirls too. She's playing my therapist. Real life situation I went through that I had to go through. But in the cover art, I'm laying on the couch, and you know what I mean. She's talking about stuff, and then I put that in there. So I like to, like I said, paint that picture for people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So you don't have no doubt what I'm talking about. You can kind of see it. Yeah. Dive into my head because I'm a quiet person otherwise, but the music is when I just express myself.
That's cool.
You know.
Do you ever do live performances?
I've done two live performances.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
It's different. I mean, I compared it to fighting. It was about the same as far as you see the order, you see your set list when you're going on, just like fighting. You get in the back room, taping up your gloves, see when you go on, whatever. they announce your name, you walk out on stage, probably like people. So I was ready for that, but it's a different feel. You have to have the right music for the right setting, right? So I found that out. Is a lot of the music that I had, okay, maybe it's not for this crowd right here. You know what I mean? So I guess for me, it's just finding the right venue with the right crowd for the type of music that I make. You know what I'm saying? So, because I did one at the Gold Room, and then one at what's the name of that place? I forgot what it's called, but we actually ended up. It wasn't like a contest or anything, but we ended up having. We had a bunch of fans show up. Like,
where was that at?
Underground Music Cafe.
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah, Underground Music Cafe, and we had a bunch of Alpha House fans pull up. You know, my favorite part about it is, so when I do I'll do track listening parties, album listening parties, or whatever.
Okay.
And my favorite part is, like I said, it's a tight knit family. We bring new people in, all of that, but first, by the time you're at the third event, they don't even say hi to me no more. Hey, how you been, man? Everybody's talking to everybody around me. They're formulating, they're making a network around me. That is obvious. That's my favorite part about it. So when we did that show, there's people that are getting off the elevators. Oh man, who you here to see? Oh, Apollo. Oh, you too? Two people who wouldn't otherwise cross paths in life ever, because we're just from two different complete walks of life.
Getting them in the same room.
And that's why I like to do with my music too, is bringing people together. Let's have these conversations. Find out we're not that much different. You know what I mean? The similarity is, okay, we're here to see Apollo, and then they network off of that and they become friends. I love that, man. It honestly does my heart good seeing that, and that's through the music. That's all I want to do. I mean that wholeheartedly. The checks, if they come, fine. But I don't do this to make money, man. You know what I mean? I'm financially okay. You know what I mean? This and that third. It's therapeutic for me, and I want to touch people and bring people together, and who knows what that must part.
We'll be right back.
And we're back.
This is DogStar. We are Sun Dogs. This is Apollo. And we've got a few minutes left. Got about 10 minutes left.
All right.
And we talked a little bit about NVO.
Yeah.
Talked a little bit about Let It Do Elijah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of just with the listeners are going to listen to those two tracks at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And I just want to hear how you feel when you listen back to those tracks after you record them. Does your mood change about them? Are you still thinking, oh, Apollo, you made a good point back then. You know, you should
or
watch
maybe
out.
Feel glad that you made the song, kind of like, this made a great song type of thing.
And with Letter to Elijah, especially since it hasn't even been released yet, so I haven't seen a reaction. But that one still to this day gives me goosebumps for real, because that's something that, I mean, all the way till I die is going to be a fear, you know what I mean, of leaving my child, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that gives me goosebumps every time. And then the call at the end, you know what I'm saying? Like, goosebumps, chills every time, man. NVO was another personal project for a lot of the people around me and things around me. Then I don't know if y'all got to see the video. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it hits a little harder for me too. So yeah, all of my songs, I don't think I've made a song where I'm like, man, why did I make that? You know, so because I honestly take time and I care about every single song that I do. It's like a baby for me. It's like every song is a different little baby for me, and I nurture and take care of it. So I've yet to have a song where I'm embarrassed or like, why did I make this? Oh my goodness. So nah, man, I feel the same every time that I hear a song. I go back to the mood that I was in when I wrote it. If that answers the question, you know.
Yeah, is there a certain like standard you hold your songs to? Because you were saying when you made music when you were younger, it was like 10 tracks a night.
Yeah,
and it's probably, can you make a song in a day, or do you like to have it longer?
For sure, I could do about 2 or 3. Now the mixing and all of that's different, but I could write, 3, 4, depending. Sometimes it's just boom, boom, boom. But the standard the only standard I hold myself to is it real? Am I just talking? Or is it something, you know what I mean? And if it don't fit that standard, then I scrap it, because sometimes I can get in the mode where I'm just talking bars or just this, that, and the third. But it sounds good, sounds great. There are a lot of songs on my phone that I never made, because it was just at the time, it was a mental exercise. It felt good to make. It sounds amazing, but I know to myself I wouldn't be happy if I made it. You know, so that's the only standard I hold it to is, do I feel this when I make it? Can I, even when I deliver it, do I feel this delivery does? Because imagine if I did Letter to Elijah and I'm just with all of my, you know what I'm saying? So like that delivery is important too. So, and I can only deliver it if I feel what I wrote. So that's the only standard I hold myself up to. Even if it's like a fun party song, let it be real. You know what I'm saying?
You had mentioned earlier that you've scrapped songs before.
Yeah.
What's the ratio of released songs to scrapped songs?
It favors the scrap, man. I scrapped a lot,
wow.
or just chambered, haven't even made yet.
Right.
But there are some too where I've made or I scrapped and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I scrolled through my phone, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this, and I'll play the beat and I'll like rap it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not feeling this. I don't know what headspace I was in when I made it, because they're all genuine.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm no longer there, so I don't want to make it. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah,
but when you say scrapped, are you deleting it forever? Or is it just
it's just
stashed?
Not on the queue.
Yeah,
that's good because
and now that I have the studio at home, I'll make it, record it, and then just have it on my phone to play.
How long have you had the studio at home? So I didn't.
No problem. If we're in December, maybe 5 months, not even.
Oh,
yeah, 5 months, 6 tops, not even.
That's cool. Are either the songs that came out this year made in that studio?
Yes, the one the Lied to Me. I don't know if y'all got to see that one. With the video with YouTube, the tuxedo, right? And I made that was the first one that I made at the crib and released, and I was nervous because I'm like, nah, man, will they be able to tell the difference? And
that sounds good.
Thank you, man. That was my first one that I released from what I made. So, and I've gotten better since then. So even now, listening to Lie to Me, I'm like, I could have done better. I know where I messed up at, So,
but it's a milestone for sure.
Yeah. So that's the only one I've released so far. But this whole project that I'm doing is completely done at the crib. You know what I mean?
Sweet.
So, still in Pro Tools.
Still in Pro Tools. Yeah, still in Pro Tools.
Excellent.
And I know I'm doing well because Benjay, the same dude I told you about, started me with the music. He went to school for engineering.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So I like to bring him over and I'll play it. And I knew I was doing great because, the first song too I played for him, he's expecting whatever. But last time I brought him over and he was listening to the project. That's one of my A&Rs too. He's the last person he's a real tough critic. So, and I care about his opinion more than anybody's. So when he's listening to it and he's listening, vibing to it, and he's feeling it, and he looks at me and he's like, you made this? And that's when I knew I was, you know what I'm saying? Like the chill, like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, B, I made that right here at the crib.
Means a lot.
Like, it means a lot coming from him, you know what I'm saying? And in a different voice and all of that. He's like, who's singing right here? I'm like, that's me.
Right.
He's like, who's rapping here? I'm like, that's me, B. Like, there's multiple personalities on one track.
Exactly. Are you doing any features on this project coming up? Because it seems like on Spotify, again, that's where I did my hunting. There was one feature in the whole scoop.
This is another project I didn't even talk about. Me and one of my homies, he actually met me on IG. We've never met each other in person. And we have this amazing relationship and communicate where his work ethic is just like mine. We'll send each other damn near a song a night, back and forth, whatever. So we have a whole project coming. That one is 7 songs. It's just fire, sick. Man. Just nothing. It's like there's some melodic stuff, but it's the street gritty, hard tracks like gym workout or you know what I mean.
At work,
because he's the only one where to do a feature. I could feature on other people's stuff, but to allow I don't want to sound like that, but for somebody to for me to want to reach out to somebody to feature on my stuff, the chemistry has to be there, right? So all of my songs, I never write them thinking of a feature to fill it out. I just write my own. Then if I find somebody that's like, oh man, it'll sound good on here, I'll take my verse out and send it to them. So I have one potential feature on this EP coming up. And I'm just waiting to hear back from her and see if it'll work in time with her time schedule. If not, then I don't like to wait either. So whatever. Maybe we'll do a remix.
Next time,
So that's otherwise. I just like doing my own thing. If I need a feature, I'll just do some voices. And
I mean, it's sounding good. It sounded like you could do anything at this point. You say you're self-taught. Well, learning from your friend, but then YouTube and stuff
just
like
YouTube, man. And that's why we live in the information era. So it's especially where we grew up, my mom never really made excuses. You know what I mean? She came from nothing, war torn, all of that stuff, right? So it's I never seen her complain about anything. If she didn't know how to do anything, she figured it out, right? So it's we live in the era of information where you could just literally pick up your phone, figure out something. Now imagine back then if you was a mechanic and all the things are in a book and you have that one book, you have to travel to go find that or talk to somebody. And that's why these people that they hop on YouTube, and these are people that went to college and spent hundreds of thousands, whatever, right? And they're giving free game. Monetization, all of that, but they're giving game to the people. It's out there. You just got to go look for how bad do you want to do this. You know what I mean? And for me, it was just I really want to figure this thing out. So I went out there and YouTube. There's a plethora of information out there, man.
Plethora. What more advice can you give to, let's say, a listener or a viewer who's an up-and-coming artist who hasn't released a song yet?
My biggest advice would be, man, it's never going to be perfect, man. It's never, because we are our worst critics. Just release it, man. Because you're also, too, giving yourself a chance to grow. Because imagine if the first track was perfect, the bar off is here now. You know what I mean? So any of your favorite artists, from their first track to you can see the difference in sound, quality, delivery, all of that. Give yourself a chance to grow. Just release it. It's never going to be perfect. And the details that you think they're going to notice, they're not even going to notice it. Just release it, work on and get better on the next one and the next one and the next one. So that's the biggest thing I'll say. Don't be afraid to explore. Get out of your musical box. You know what I'm saying? Venture out. Just because this is working for one person, this is the fast track. You know what I mean? If that's true to yourself, fine. But if it's not, venture out. Go listen to other music. You know what I mean? And add that sound to it, because the world needs something different. Like, they're gonna get tired of all of that stuff. So just be unique, true to yourself, and don't wait. Just release it, man. Just release. Don't wait for it to be perfect. There's never a perfect time. It's not.
That's great advice.
That's be about
words of wisdom. Truly.
We're wrapping up here. Last 20 seconds. Time's flown by.
Thank you again for coming through. Man. Make sure to follow Apollo at Apollo_Ombre on Instagram.
Follow Apollo.
Follow Apollo. Got about 5 more seconds. We'd like to thank you again for listening and watching.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it, man.
We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Bow wow.
This is a prepaid call from an inmate at the County Correctional Facility. All phone calls are subject to recording and monitoring. To accept this call, press 1 now. Thank you. Your call has been accepted.
Say, Apollo, I see you doing your thing out there with the music, man. Going crazy, man. You know, we in here holding it down, but hey, man, when you get on, just make sure you don't forget about us, man. Tell them our story, you hear me?
If I call you my new, then that means I ride for you. Need that work delivered, I pull up outside for you. You got beef in the streets, I help the heat and slide for you. Co-defendants, we don't speak, you best believe I lie for you. God is my witness, the cloth that I've cut from my new, I'm different. Whenever I'm open, I throw you the difference. Just know that it's up there if you talk from my new. God is my witness, I can explain all the shit that we've been in. I can explain all the completed missions. Ain't nothing changes to our files business. My t-shirt sold for those who never seen a light of day. This world is cold, but when you hungry, you can't hibernate. But they don't understand us, not violent offenders.
We from the trenches, disadvantaged,
but we still find a way. I'm in the zone, on our 35 as I'm writing this song. Got Lolo on side of me, sleeping so quietly. Lyrics inside of me, I'll put in my phone. My Shelly's still clicking, I tell him I'm gone. But I'll be back in a minute. Put a bump on your guns, get to numb your shit that I do. I'm a zip and it's already finished. My little nigga hit me, he said that he down. I told him, say less, you my brother, my round. I swear on my soul that this nigga so cold that I threw him a Vic, he came back for a pound. Children of God, so you know that we fly. When the king moving wrong, we gon' straighten this crown. Raise up a feather, we must stick together. Let's shoot for the stars, let them stay on the ground. If I call you my new, then that means I ride for you. Need that work delivered, I pull up outside for you. You got beef in the streets, I help the heat and slide for you. Co-defendants, we don't speak, you best believe I lie for you. God is my witness, the cloth that I've cut from my new, I'm different. Whenever I'm open, I throw you the difference. Just know that it's up there if you touch from my new. God is my witness, I can explain all the shit that we've been in. I can explain all the completed missions. Ain't nothing changes to our files business.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and success is a beautiful thing, you hear me? In correlation, this must mean the level of success lies within the beholder's eyes. So one cannot truly see what they have created until they see just who they are. Stay focused.
God like demeanor, our peoples was kings, but the teachers won't teach us. Short like a husky with African features, my head down my back, I'm resembling Jesus. All full of gold, but they never could read us. Look how they treat us. Get caught in the system, they try to defeat us and say we don't listen, but don't try to reach us. Platinum and diamonds get turned into felonies. I pray to God that you stick to the code. The day that the peoples hit you with that Rico, I pray that you don't get the family exposed. You spoke with your lawyer, he said he had for you and told you should probably take this shit to court. Better keep your mouth closed. But he's fucking the phone, so they already know.
Yeah, man, this crazy in here, man. Non-violent offenders, man. I'm telling you, man, this shit ain't right. Got the game fucked up. You get more time for drugs and murder. And had these motherfuckers in here as users, man. This ain't where they supposed to be. They need help. You know what I mean? Getting 5, 10, 15, whatever for possession or pushing or trafficking. Non-violent offenders, first-time offenders. This shit ain't right, man. But you telling me if I catch a body, I get less, I be hot in 10? That's crazy, man. This shit crazy. They need to change the system. But we need motherfuckers like you to tell the truth, man. To represent for people like us locked down in here holding it down. This shit ain't right. So I ain't gonna fight it. You know what I mean? I'ma take it. I just be standing on my head, man, but you gotta keep it going, little bro. You know what I mean? Stay focused.
July 21st, 2017. I was blessed with a beautiful baby boy by the name of Elijah. You know, this whole time in my life, I've been chasing love in all the wrong places. And when God blessed me with you, I ain't had to look no more. Everything was right there. I made a promise on that day I'd make better decisions and make sure I stay in your life. But your daddy ain't perfect.
With all of my decisions came a few mistakes. I've done a lot of things that might make them take me away. And on that day when them peoples or the reaper come and get me, just play this for Elijah so he never will forget me. Tell him that I loved him and I did the best I could. Show him all the memories, make sure it's understood that his daddy was a rider, natural born survivor. He's no longer here to guide you, but was one hell of a father. This is my letter to Elijah.
As I gaze upon my son, I sit back and recollect on all the crazy shit I've done. See, your daddy is a barrel, a common disadvantage of our fathers being absent, so guidance we never had it. I ain't tripping though, and yeah, the trauma made it difficult. That's why I promised if I had a child I would be different though. Heaven knows all the fucking pain and all the crying that I never show. All these years and I'm still trying just to let it go. People come around me, what do they want from me? Cause how the f you love me? My own father didn't want me. It's money over bricks, my nigga. Can't tell me nothing. They say love is in the air, oh yeah. Can't tell me nothing. One thing is for sure, no, I ain't perfect. But he know that I would never do nothing to hurt him. But here we are, as I hold him in the very arms that I do dirt with. Taking all these chances got me nervous. Cause if they come and take me, who the f gon' raise my baby? I'm drowning in my demons, who the f is gonna save me? I'm only just a man, but this is who I am. And that's why I don't give a damn about who the f gon' wanna change me. And everyone around me seems to always wanna leave. And here the f I go, doing the same shit to my seed. Seeing his daddy boxed in, 23 hours locked in. Man, let's change the f***ing topic, cause I'm f***ing going crazy. With all of my decisions came a few mistakes. I've done a lot of things that might make them take me away. And on that day when the peoples or the reaper come and get me, just play this for Elijah so he never will forget me. Tell him that I loved him and I did the best I could. Show him all the memories, make sure it's understood that his daddy was a rider, natural born survivor. He's no longer here to guide you, but was one hell of a father. This is my letter to Elijah.
Know your second chance for you to be a better you. All the mistakes that I made, I protected you from them so you can be a better dude than I ever was. But I never saw how ironically all the pain inside of me would damage you. But regardless, I took care of you and promised to be right by your side in this life I share with you. Hard times I'm gon' bear with you. I would shed a tear with you, catch you like a parachute. I wish that I was there with you. As you get older, you gon' have a lot of questions, and daddy's gonna do his best to address them. Listen, them hating, we don't pay attention, and all of them emotions in you, they gon' need some vengeance. Follow your own path, don't give a f about acceptance. Don't let these women distract you, stay focused on the mission. You ain't tripping, that's your gut saying follow your intuition. Keep your distance from anyone who don't believe in your vision. Never show nobody chasing after redemption. We only human beings and we should all get second chances. Make them all believers if they doubt in your advances. Fulfill your prophecies of this life that you have been handed. Did I mention we are angels? Out of heaven we were sentenced. Makes sense that every time we come around, they get defensive. They gon' label you a monster. They'll say you too aggressive. But I love you, baby boy, just know that you's a f***ing blessing. With all of my decisions came a few mistakes. I've done a lot of things that might make them take me away. And on that day when the peoples or the reaper come and get me, just play this for Elijah so he never will forget me. Tell him that I loved him and I did the best I could. Show him all the memories, make sure it's understood that his daddy was a rider, natural born survivor. He's no longer here to guide you, but was one hell of a father. This is my letter to Elijah.
Elijah, listen to me, boy. Your daddy wasn't perfect, but I did everything I could to make sure that you had a better life than I did. And sometimes that meant taking chances that I wouldn't advise you to take yourself. But just know, no matter what they tell you, your daddy was an upstanding individual. And that's because of you. You made me a better me. I'm sorry I can't be there, but just know I'll always be there in spirit, and I love you. Don't let nobody tell you different. I love you, boy. You hear me? Elijah, I love you, boy.
This is my letter to